It's like you got to really start in a different lane. I started a clothing brand with $1,000 and I started with leather zip-up jackets. So me doing something that people weren't doing and then pricing it higher than the average brand would, now I'm attracting a higher quality audience.
If you're starting over in 2025, what are some of the first steps you're taking to build a brand?
If you sell something for cheap, you're gonna attract cheap people. If you sell something at a higher price, you're gonna attract higher quality people. And this is why Louis Vuitton attracts NFL players, rappers, and all these things.
What are some other things that you're having your brands look out for right now in 2025, whether ways to make money or ways to avoid mistakes? Like what's some other things?
A lot of it right now is avoiding.
It has to work or it has to work.
Welcome to Circle of Greatness. I'm your host, Nehemiah Davis. And today, man, we're going to talk about all things brand building, man. I was watching this. I say young man because I've seen him come up and just build his brand and crush it and be a man of value, man. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my guy, serial entrepreneur, investor, trader, Tez. What's up, bro?
Yo, what's going on, man? How you
man,
doing?
Thanks for coming on, bro. How
Absolutely.
you been, man?
Man, I'm blessed, bro. I can't complain.
Good. How's life, bro?
Amazing, bro. Got two little ones, you know what I mean? And it's
yeah.
been beautiful watching them grow.
Good, bro.
And just going through changes in life, really.
Yeah, that's life. I mean, life is going to change. Like, if you were to tell me life is just stagnant and the same, I'm like, are you growing? Are we growing?
Exactly.
So I think change is important, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's something that you're not one that's ever going to stay stagnant. So change is important. Same with me. Like I'm always looking for that next level, always looking to be better. So
yeah, staying uncomfortable.
Yeah, bro. So man, I've known you with building your brand. So first I got to shout him out, guys. So he came to our event. We had this event, charity event, blessed us with thousands and thousands and thousands, over 15, 20,000 pieces of merch from his brand to give to homeless citizens, to give to kids in needs, to give to families in needs. And we're able to give that out to thousands of people. So I just wanted to publicly thank you for just
appreciate it.
Out of your kindness of your heart wanting to do good. Even you just had a birthday and you rally your troops together to go. I know a snowstorm ended up happening that, Atlanta, it snowed a little in Atlanta, it's over with. Yeah. So that was still a storm, but it was enough to knock the city out. But your intentions was to go out here and go bless all these homeless people. So I salute you to what you're doing, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I've been seeing you online with building brands, bro, for years. I mean, that's what I know you for, building a clothing brand. And I wanted to really use this episode to talk about building a brand, right? Absolutely. So there's a lot of people on here who either want to further grow their brand. There's some people on here. I got a hybrid of people who are already established and looking to get better. Then I got people who just hasn't started yet and want to start. So I want to go ahead and work through building a brand. And I know you did it with a clothing brand, but it's almost applicable whether you're building a clothing brand, a beauty brand. Right. Brand building is similar, but the thing that you do have is the work ethic too, though. So,
exactly.
But I want to go ahead and talk through like, if you're starting over in 2025, what are some of the first steps you're taking to build a brand?
That's a great question. So the very first thing that I would be thinking about is my budget. Like, where's my finances at? Yeah. Do I actually have the funds to do a pre-order method? I mean, pre-made, or can I do pre-order? Yeah. And essentially the difference between the two is pre-made is if you already have the capital, let's say you can start with maybe $2,000 to $3,000, you can go buy all of the product from the manufacturer directly in bulk. Now, for a lot of individuals who come to me, they say, hey man, I got less than 1,000. I need to figure out how I can make this work. So what I tell them is if you're just starting off, the first step is building out the actual name of the brand and the meaning. So my brand was called One Love. And the idea of it came from me having a kid at 18. And I realized as soon as I turned 18, life got real. You got a kid, you can't go to college, you got to make certain decisions for her. And that was my one love. I did everything for her. I'm clocking 60 hours a week. I'm dedicating all of this time to studying, reading books, and just doing everything I can to make sure that she's straight. And that's where the name, like, this is my one love. I used to always say it like, I'm going to work. Yeah, that's my one love. That's showing people pictures of my daughter because we're like twins. And that's where the brand name came from. And then the idea of it was, I'm going to build something around this concept that I already love. So it's not me building something just off of a trend. It's building something off of meaning. And then the meaning behind it was people who dedicate or sacrifice or hustle for one person, one place, or one thing. And essentially that is universal. You got people who play basketball and they're in the NBA. That's your one love, right? You got people who have families, you got kids, right? That's your one love. Your family is your one love, and all these other scenarios. So I felt like it was universal. Yeah. So first is picking something a name, the meaning, and then your avatar. So who is the ideal audience? I knew my audience was people who had families. So that's how my brand was really able to scale really fast. Was we started off with jogging suit sets for adults. And then I realized, I'm like, man, I started doing photo shoots with my daughter and kids stuff. And then I added a kids line to it. And the kids line was what really took off. So a lot of people, it's kind of like opposite, right? Like sometimes people start kids brand and then they start selling adult stuff. So for us, it was like a coincidence, like accidental. She was the reason we went viral for the first time. And so if you're just starting off the brand, you got to have those first 3 layers first. And usually this probably takes, depending on how dedicated you are, it may take you a week. Sometimes it may take you a month and a half. It really just depends on the individual. Now, the next step from there is the manufacturing process. Now, I do not mind giving y'all my exact manufacturer so I can just send it over to y'all. And what I want people to realize is when you're dealing with manufacturers in China, Pakistan, Venezuela, and all these places, they have the factories and the resources to be able to work with thousands of people. So when you gatekeep, it doesn't make sense to gatekeep. This is what they are able to do. This is their business model, right?
A lot of people do not be trying to come up off of that manufacturer, dog.
Man, so it's
now,
like...
Is it a form of gatekeeping, or they're like, well, I don't want your design to look like my design?
I think it's both. I think people, if they don't understand business models in general, they might look at it like, oh, they're going to try to steal my manufacturer and try to take my designs before they even come out. But the thing is if you have a really good relationship with your manufacturer, you can tell them, I don't want you sharing none of my stuff with anybody. So what I used to do back in the day to find people's manufacturers, all these big brands, I would reach out to the manufacturers and I would say, hey, can I see pictures and videos of your previous work? And then they would start showing me all these brands. And then it's like, oh, I spot this brand. Oh, they're doing probably $1 million a month. This is their manufacturer. Perfect. Oh, the jeans brand. Oh, they doing, X, Y, and Z a month. I need this. And then I would just start snagging the manufacturers and I would build a list of it. And then I would just go out and give it to other people or my friends and stuff like that. So once you got the meaning, the avatar, you got all of that stuff laid out, you move on to the manufacturing phase. Now, like I said, I can give them the manufacturer, but the process of it is you use Alibaba. That's a manufacturing platform, or I wouldn't say just a manufacturing platform, but it's a platform where you can talk to suppliers, and it doesn't just include clothing. So you can do, cell phones, cell phone cases. You can do all types of things, anything you could think of. And there's something called the request for quotation. And this is how it's like reverse psychology or reverse working, like reverse engineering something, where people will normally go out there and they try to reach out to these Instagram manufacturers and all that. And I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna get scammed. That's gonna be the first thing I'm gonna tell you, because you don't have no way of verifying anything. Mm-hmm. So when you go through Alibaba and you use the request for quotation, it's basically like a billboard, and you're filling out all this information, your budget, how many pieces you wanna buy, what you're trying to buy, all this stuff. And Alibaba takes it and they say, all right, cool, we're gonna stamp it and send it out to all the manufacturers. So now all the manufacturers who can work with you within your requirements, they'll start reaching out to you. So instead of you sitting there hours upon hours reaching out to all these manufacturers, why not just have them reach out to you? Yeah. So now this phase has started, and then obviously you're gonna need some designs. So that design phase, you can use Procreate, you can use Photoshop, you can use Adobe Illustrator. I used to design all my stuff, and then we hired someone. So you can use Fiverr if you want to hire someone, or Upwork if you want like a full-time designer, you want to pay them monthly. So you have that design phase, and usually I would recommend starting with like 2 to 3 products. Yeah. Start high margin though. Like people start with
high
shirts.
Margins is good.
Yes, like when you start off with shirts, like there's only so much a person's gonna pay for a shirt if you're not a designer brand. Let's 100%. Just be completely honest.
Yeah, $20, $25 normally.
Yeah, or $40 max, right?
Facts.
And the thing is with shirts nowadays, all of them are so alike now because there's so many brands that are starting up. It's like you got to really start in a different lane. So I started a series where I started a clothing brand with $1,000, and I started with leather zip-up jackets. It's like I only seen one brand with leather zip-up jackets, period. So me doing something that people weren't doing and then pricing it higher than the average brand would, now I'm attracting a higher quality audience. Yeah. So it's like if you sell something for cheap, you're going to attract cheap people. If you sell something at a higher price, you're going to attract higher quality people. And this is why Louis Vuitton attracts NFL players, rappers, and all these things. Their prices are higher. They built a strong brand. They know how to market. And then, they just really just sell the units to those people who is their target audience. And that influences people who don't have a lot of money or who look up to these people to buy from that brand because their favorite person is wearing it. And that's how you would go about your marketing too. Like people try to start with ads. This is not 2020 no more. Yeah. Ads is a different ball game right now, just to be completely honest. So if you don't have a a concept that's already proven. I always tell my students this, like, you have to have a proven concept. Sell it locally a little bit first, sell it to a couple of your friends, sell it in school. If I got like a lot of high schoolers who be selling their brands in school. I have one student, he's like 18 years old, did $100,000 before he got out of high school. So it's like, you can move all this stuff, not only just in high school, but once you figure out it works, then you pour gasoline on it, which is the ads. And that's when you go down that whole route. And then you go to influencers, email, text message marketing. And it gets more advanced as you go down into the funnel.
Yeah, definitely good. Let me ask you this before we go further in brands, because I seem that's where we're going. How am I identifying if I want to start a t-shirt brand, a bra brand, a lip gloss brand, a consumer product brand, like, how are you telling people do what you love or follow the money? Like, do something you're interested in, or what are like, I want to get started. I don't know what I want to sell. What are you talking? What's the conversation you're having with them for them to understand what they should be doing?
There's 3 things, right? There's market research, right? So you first have to realize what all is out there and what could you see yourself selling. The second thing is check your closet. Whatever you buy the most of, you're more likely to keep buying that. And the thing is like, if you're buying that a lot, there's billions of other people who are also buying it a lot, right? And then the third thing is really just understanding what you see yourself doing for the future. Because you got to think, when you build a brand, you got to be in this for a minute. Like, this is something you about to dedicate your years.
Life to. Yeah,
I've been doing this for 7 years now. So it's like my life was dedicated to this. So you got to really build something that you are really okay with being in for 2, 3, 4 years. Because the problem nowadays is people start a business and then they close it down 5 months later.
Facts.
A year later. So I try to teach like longevity. Like, that's why I don't teach people how to just sell clothing online. I teach you how to build a brand. So it's something that means something to you. So you're more likely to keep continuing with it over a long period of time. And that's why I feel like a lot of our students like have been able to see success, and they're still seeing success now, is because they dedicated a lot of their energy, their time into this idea, into this philosophy of life that they may build on this clothing, and they want people to resonate with them. So that's really the 3 strategies that really will help you figure out what you should be doing. And then as far as what type of clothing you want to sell, it really just depends. Like I said, I don't start with shirts. That's just me personally. That's not something I teach. We always start either jogging suits, varsity jackets, because they go viral margins. Easily. Yeah, margins.
I love it.
Yeah, so we can get varsity jackets right now for $53, and then you can go sell a varsity jacket from anywhere from $120 to $250.
Yeah. Nice margins.
Exactly.
You sell one of them, that's a good day for you.
Exactly.
T-shirt at $10 to $20 margin. Yes, much less.
It's not going to do much for you.
Yeah.
And it's like, people want something, they want to build something that will be able to take care of their cost of living, help family. And I keep telling people, you're going to put in the same amount of work in the same amount of hours. Why would you want to pay yourself less? It doesn't make sense. Just pay yourself something more. And then people are like, oh, well, I don't know if it's priced too expensive. That's where the market research comes in. If you're just starting off, you don't want to price like Louis Vuitton is pricing out, because you ain't gonna get no sales, right? So start off doing some market research. What are some other brands in your niche? What are they selling at? How long have they been established? How many followers do they have? And then start creating these goals, these like KPIs that you can really pinpoint. All right, I need to get to this many followers. I need this many SMS subscribers, email subscribers, and then I'm going to be selling it at this price point. And then you can break down how much money you're going to make as you reach new KPIs based off your conversion rate on your website.
What are you telling brands? I don't have no numbers and no emails. How are you telling them? What are you telling strategies giving them to start developing numbers and emails? And also, why some people still aren't doing SMS and not knowing how important it is, bro.
I have no idea how they're doing it. Like, I mean, there's people that I know who are just in fashion and their social media is based around fashion. So it's easier for them because they already have the fashion audience and they have a sense of fashion. So that it's easy for them to sell. But I always tell people, you're at a huge disadvantage if you're not collecting the list, or if you're not collecting people's information. And I realized this was like when I first started my brand. Like, we would do drops and they would do okay. But when we started focusing on sending text messages or focusing on our audience first outside of social media, that's when our drops started scaling up even faster. So then we started finding ourselves, we were only buying 50 pieces. Now we're buying 75. Now we're buying 100. Then we got up to 250. Now you're doing 500. You're doing 600, 800. And it's like you're steady climbing because the demand is there. You're just building your list. So what you should do is, before you open your website, if you're just getting started, right? Your website should be locked, and then you can use a platform called Postscripts, and then you can use Klaviyo. These are 2 Shopify apps. Yep. And Shopify is just a platform where you guys can build your website. You can sell your products, manage inventory, do all your marketing, track everything. It's the best platform, hands down. And that's what I would recommend people to use.
Yeah. We'll drop a link for you guys to be able to you get a free trial with Shopify.
Yeah,
right?
you get $1 for 90 days.
No brainer.
Yeah, absolute no brainer.
Yeah.
So essentially what you would do is you want to go ahead and set up the SMS on the front of your website while it's locked. So all of your marketing and your pushing, you're telling people, hey, this release is going to happen on this date at this time. You don't want to be late because there's a limited amount of units. And now what's happening is you're building scarcity, urgency, all at the same time. But now you're pushing them to your website. And what happens is you want to tell them you're going to get VIP access. You're going to get a VIP discount.
That's good.
And then you build that list up off of that. And now there's just like little hacks, like Postscripts has a feature where you can send a link. And if someone clicks it, it'll pull up their text messages. And if it'll like auto insert a text message, they can click send, it'll auto subscribe them.
You said something key, like tools. How important are tools, right? Like people aren't using just like tools, bro. Yeah. And I got, before I go to tools though, no. Talk about some other tools that they should be using to help with their brand.
Absolutely. It's crazy how many Shopify apps I have memorized at this point. I mean, 7 years. I mean, you're gonna know pretty much all of them.
Willio.
Willio. Yep. That right there. So Willio was game changing. Yeah. There was a drop that we did. We were running ads and we used to average like anywhere from like 2 to 7K a day. And then we would sell out and then we close the website. And essentially we used Willio. Willio is like a gamified way of getting somebody's information. So the normal pop-ups, those work. Those only going to convert at like anywhere from like, depending on the website, a 1% to like maybe a 4% on a great side. Willio, I had noticed like industry average, mind you, is getting someone information 1 to 4%. As soon as I went to Willio, it went to 7 to 9%.
Wow.
So it was like that small tweak.
7 to 9, that matters.
Yes. And that was shout out to Support Back Colleges. Corey, he put me onto that. Yeah. I'm like, yo, this game changing. I'm saying, he's like, yeah, bro, this is what we've been using. I mean, that's why networking is so important. Other brand owners, talk to them about what they learning. Yeah. But you got Postscripts for SMS, Klaviyo for your emails, Shopify bundles, right? So if you're selling jogging suits, right? Neo has a dope jogging suit on by my boys at World and Vision. You would want to sell them the top piece by itself. And then if you wanted to sell them the second piece, you could sell it as a bundle and discount it. Shopify has the automatic bundles, Shopify bundles that will automatically give them the discount at checkout. So now they can get both the pieces at discount when they grab it. And we used to do that when I had my do-rag brand. We would upsell them on do-rags, upsell them on bonnets, upsell them on brushes and all this other stuff. And then on top of that, you got, like I said, Willio. You also have... ChatGPT is like, it's not a Shopify app, but ChatGPT will do all of your SMS marketing, all of your email marketing. So I'm gonna give you a crazy play. Take one weekend, right? So let's say this upcoming weekend, you said, all right, I'm about to dedicate this full weekend to my brand. What you do is you search a calendar, right? Go to the calendar and look up all the holidays. And then you go to ChatGPT. And then for every holiday, you create 2 to 3 emails and text messages for that specific holiday and schedule it for that day. So that's how we were.
Game changing.
Exactly. That's how we were not.
And that gets you in advance. You ain't waiting till the last minute.
You're not. Because I used to wait like, or Black Friday, we had a drop. And because I was with family, you got Thanksgiving right before.
Life is going on.
Yeah, everything's happening at the same time. But your business has to make money. And I start thinking like, what do CEOs do? They hire people. Number one, they delegate everything. And then those people schedule everything to make their lives easier. So I think people only think about what a CEO does, but what does the person they hire do? And then how do they make sure that their life is easier? And then if you're not a person who can hire anyone, look at it from that perspective. If you can be this person and this person at the same time. Because you gotta think, when you have a business, a brand, it doesn't matter what type of business you have, you're gonna wear every hat throughout that entire business.
100%.
So why not automate as much as humanly possible? And with AI, I mean, you can make this like stupid easy now. Yeah. So essentially that's what I would recommend. Go to all of the holidays, schedule 2 to 3 emails, 2 to 3 text messages for each one. Yes, it might take you some time. Yes, you're going to put some hours in, but at the end of the day, it's going to pay off because now you don't have to send a single text message the day of. All you got to do is sit back, open up the Shopify apps, and then see if the messages send out. And that's it.
Wow. Bro, let me ask you this, and I'll go back to tools, bro. What do you recommend? It's so many ways. Capsule, like I see people do collections and drop. Like, do you recommend a once a month drop? You talked about shutting on and off the website. Like, give me what you recommend for a bigger brand, and then give me what you recommend for the newbie. So I've seen people do a drop and they sell out. They keep the website. Like Milano, their website stays open.
Yeah.
Right. Then you got, I think at a time, Nikki Diamonds in them, I think they were just doing drops for Pink Dolphin. I think it was called Pink Dolphin or something like that. And it would just, you sell it. I had another brand that will only open up from the 1st to the 5th of the month. Like, what are you seeing now that is working? I know it's not one size fit all, but tell me a little bit about your thoughts on those.
I really say it's about your demand, right? Like the more you focus on that SMS and that email list, the quicker you'll be able to get to those stages. Because normally you want to be able to sell out in the 1st to the 5th, or do one day and sell out everything. Yeah. That would be ideal.
100%.
Milano, in that case, she's global. So it's like she has to keep her website open because there's so many people looking for her brand. Yeah. It's so widely known. You see it in the airports, you see it in the malls. Yeah. And shout out to the queen. She's killing it, right? Yeah. So for a beginner, I would say start off with 1 drop a month, and that's a collection, right? So usually a collection is anywhere from 2, or I would say 3 to 7 pieces, right? So you would think 2 shirts, a pair of jeans, a chain, a beanie, and maybe a jersey or something like that, whatever, combination you want to use. And they're all combinations. And essentially with these collections, you're thinking, how can someone put these fits together? And then what shoes can they wear with it? And that'll make your content process a lot easier, because now instead of thinking about, I don't know what shoes is going to go with this, if you think about that when you're creating the design itself, now when you go make the content, you already know what goes with the fit. And then you can recommend that to people. So for a new brand, I would say 1 drop a month. That'll kind of get your feet wet. It still takes a little bit of time for manufacturers to get stuff to you. If you're a bigger brand, I would say if you're doing anywhere from $50,000 plus, I would say that's like a kind of like a mid-sized brand. If you're like $50,000 plus, you should be pushing like maybe 2 to 3 drops, or increase the amount of pieces in your collection. And then if you're doing anything over like 350,000, that's usually what I would say like a bigger brand, because it takes a lot of brands a very long time to get there. I would recommend keeping the website open, or you could do the drop method. So like when you get to that level, you have options. Like you can say, all right, for this drop, we know this is going to be a banger based off our analytics. And that's another thing no one talks about in this space is like, analytics. I am like an analytic fiend. Like I need to know everything. Data. Yes. Yeah. So when you drop 3 different colored jogging suits, which one is the best seller? Which one is the worst seller? Why is the worst seller? What's the conversion rate on each one of them? So that way, when you're restocking, all right.
You don't go buy the thing that didn't work.
Exactly. Yeah. So you just limit. You're making like educated decisions with everything at all times, because there's so much data. But the problem is people don't get the spreadsheets. They don't go put the information in there. And even now you can screenshot your analytics and you can upload it to ChatGPT and say, hey, what should I do better with my website? Here's the link, analyze it. Yeah. And it'll break everything down.
It's crazy. What are some other, I know, man, you was ahead of the game with AI a couple years ago. I remember you like, bro, I got this brand new AI training, man, and you were on it. I'm curious to know, what are some other ways that you guys are using AI and people could use AI to just make their brand better, get it out? Like you already talked about the AI writing the scripts and scheduling them. What are some other things y'all doing around AI to kind of help brands?
Absolutely. So we had a software built called Velocity Shops. And this is something that's kind of been on the back burner. So this is my first time talking about it on any type of platform. And essentially I have a website called webuildstores.com. And our focus is, how can we make the building of a website easier? So my software, we had built by a team out in Indonesia. A phenomenal team. Took probably like 4 or 5 months of just constant progression and things that we needed to change. And now what essentially it does is, because I'm partnered with Shopify, now I can offer an option to where we can get you a pre-built Shopify store. It'll be created within 2 to 3 minutes, and then we can deliver it to you immediately within 2 hours, just after our team verifies everything to make sure everything's good. So we use this software all the time. We probably have a couple hundred people going through every single month, using our software, getting their websites. And then it's not just for clothing. It's for people in the beauty industry, people selling cell phones or technology or drop shipping. Like we have 10 different categories of stores.
How's drop shipping going nowadays?
I think it's still doing really well. Branded drop shipping is doing a lot better. So like really.
What do you mean by branded drop shipping?
So back in the day, like in 2020, 2019, you used to be able to like have a bunch of different products on your store and then try to sell all of them and run ads to each individual page. Nowadays, you want to kind of find a winner and then build a whole separate website and brand around it. And then you want to start getting it to the influencers and doing all that, even though you're not touching any of the inventory. So I have a good friend, Leo. He does it at a really high level. I think they're doing like 20 million a year or something like that. And it's all branded drop shipping. So you find a product, you build the brand around it the same way you would build a clothing brand, but you would build a brand around this product because it solves a problem. And then what you do is you just solely focus on distributing just that product alone, as opposed to testing a bunch of different products.
Bro, why don't, I'll be trying to figure this out, like artists, people with influence, why aren't they selling merch, bro? I don't understand, like, you got this big behind brand, unless they're making so much money in music where it don't. Jay-Z and them was still selling Rockefeller.
Yeah.
Diddy was still selling Sean John. Like, these people who are larger than life still had their brands on the side. Why aren't more people diving into selling merch, bro?
Honestly, I think it's the quick money is like got into people's heads.
Yeah.
Like, because clothing isn't, unless like, and even then it's still quick money. You already got the influence, right?
Yeah.
Like, you've already built the influence. You should just build something. But I think people don't have business mindsets. Like, they don't think about multiplying money. They think about getting my money from this one route. So you going on stage and you going to all these different states and stuff, and you making your money off doing this, but you're still trading your time for money. Yes, it might be a higher amount, but when you get into clothing, you can automate everything and wake up to $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $100,000 on any given day. Easily. So I really wouldn't understand it, to be honest. Like, even if you look at Drake, one of the best rappers all time, in my opinion, right? OVO, like, they have a brand and they selling this through Nike. Yeah. So it's like, why would you not
partner with Nike on it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because now they'll do the distribution. You ain't gotta think.
No, as you already have the influence. You just go wear it. You do the photo shoots.
I'm almost up to challenging myself. I don't build clothing brands. I had one at a time, but literally, bro, if I would just go find an influencer, I'll go get them 3 to 5 fire designs done. Yeah. I'll go do this for 10 people. Yeah. Send them to them, the merch, like designs. I'll send them the products. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yo, you open it on a partnership, we'll go blow this brand up. All I need you to do is promote and talk about the brand. I'll do everything else, and we'll come up with some sort of rev share. Like, I feel like that makes sense. It sounds simple to, like, it sounds like, why wouldn't, that's a play for somebody right now.
It really is. I mean, I would say like marketing on steroids. This is what we call it. Yeah. If you go, people's budgets is just different. So it's not like everyone can do it. But if you have a few $1,000s and you're doing this, I would say create a spreadsheet of anywhere from 5 to 10 influencers. And then you do need to check the social media, though, because a lot of influencers, they buying followers now.
Fake crap. Yeah.
Fake
like
likes.
Social blade.
Yeah. So
fake likes be crazy.
It's insane to me. It's like, it makes it unfun to me to even build.
Yeah.
So essentially what I would say is you build a list of 5 to 10 influencers. You do like your drops every month. You're going to do collections. For those 5 to 10 influencers, you're buying them every piece of that collection every month, every new collection. And that's how you skyrocket your brand a lot faster, because you're getting it to them first. And then after they make their content, after they post the content on their pages, then you take all of that, and that's how you're getting all this content from influencers right before your drop date. Yeah. And then you can run ads to the influencers' content, and then you can get it to other people, and then, snowball it after that. And you don't even have to pay them. So it's like, it's just a hack.
Yeah. Do you gotta have permission to run the ads, or?
You do. So we give all of our students influencer contracts. Yeah. And essentially this is like, we've seen a lot of influencers start to run off on people's money. Yeah. Because they're a smaller brand. They may not have a lot of followers on their personal page, and no one's going to expose them. Yeah. And that's why, like, in our community, like, it's smart to be a part of a community, because I have access to all of the influencers, so I can just connect people with them. Yeah. But the biggest thing is, if someone is like scamming, they can send it to me and I'll be like, hey, I know you're doing this. This is my student, like, refund them their money. Yeah. And that's nothing for my team to go reach out through my social media and do it for us. So that's just another smart way to be able to get your money back.
What are you doing with TikTok Shop, or telling your students?
Honestly, I haven't touched too much of TikTok Shop, because a lot of my focus really now is trading and investing. Like that's where a lot of
I saw
my
that the other
energy
day
is.
you posted. You made some money. What have you been focusing on around trading? Is options, future? Like what you been focusing on around trading?
Man, 2020 is when I got introduced into investing and trading, and that was like I just turned 20. I had $250,000 liquid in the bank. I didn't know what to do with that.
How did you get from the brand? $250,000 liquid is a lot.
Both brands. So I was my Durag brand, my clothing brand, and then I was also having like programs that I was selling as well. So I had like a $25 ebook. I had 18,000 people buy it in like 2 years. So
fire.
Between those, by 2021, mind you, I was just dead broke 18. So to go from that to $250,000 liquid, I didn't know what to do with my money. And no one in my family, everybody was scared.
What age did you have your daughter?
18.
So that was the battery in your back to get things in order.
Exactly. And I built everything around her.
Yeah, that's powerful.
So essentially like that process was scary. And I'm like, I started watching these YouTube videos, and this older white guy who was talking about what banks do with your money, and if a bank collapsed, then how interest rates work, and how the silent killer of your money, and all these different things. And I start just going down a rabbit hole. So I took a full year of just studying money, and then that's when I got into the stock market. And then I start, all right, $1,000 a week, $2,000 a week, $5,000 a week. And then I started realizing the significance in having a lot of capital in the market. And then those small percentage returns is how you get the higher amounts. That's how, prop firms, banks, and things like that, they're trading with $100 million, $200 million, $1 billion. They only need a 1% move to make what we would normally make in our lifetime. So they're just thinking smarter, thinking bigger. And once I realized that, I said, I need to put all of my money here. So like majority of my net worth is in Bitcoin and inside the stock market. Yeah.
Bitcoin is powerful, bro.
Absolutely. I was buying at 20K. So, I mean, we just been cruise control.
Yeah, bro. I wish, man, I keep saying it, bro. I'm Jewish. I would have been privy. Like they said, it came out in 09. I wish somebody would have still, what's that, about 16 years ago, I just started an entrepreneurship. I wish somebody to say, yo, you need to buy this, you know what I mean? And just never touch it.
Yeah.
That'd have been crazy.
It's
I probably would have ended up spending it because I was in struggle mode for so many years that I probably needed it, but that would have been dope.
Yeah, I wish I was in middle school. So, I mean, I don't know what I would have been able to do, but
it'd have been crazy.
Yeah.
What are some other things that you're having your brands look out for right now in 2025, whether ways to make money or ways to avoid mistakes? Like what's some other things?
A lot of it right now is avoiding working with any manufacturer that is not on Alibaba. I don't care if your friend recommended somebody from Instagram or all this, because
meaning Alibaba, because they're verified, they're vetted.
They're vetted.
And they won't mess you up because they're going to lose their account.
Exactly. So there's like a same way like Instagram or any social media platform, they get a blue check, right?
Yeah,
there's verified like blue checks on Alibaba, and this is a verified supplier. So we do a lot of data research. So like I tell my students, before you work with any manufacturer, you need to go through their reviews. What countries have they been able to work with? Because we got a lot of people from like Australia, Canada, Nigeria, like all these multiple countries. And because the barrier to entry is a lot lower than most other business models or skill sets, people want to do it because they know they can make money with it, and it's not as difficult as all the other stuff. And essentially, we have to go through the reviews. Like this is the biggest problem right now. Like the manufacturing is number one, and then your marketing. The marketing, you can't you really got to think like a huge brand. Like you may not have the resources to make the content how they may make it, but the cell phone that you got is powerful.
100. Wallow say that all the time.
Yes. Like I see Wallow's content all the time. He just pulls it out and starts recording.
That's it.
And he's going thousands of likes. But I think people you got to have the confidence in yourself. Like your last name hold weight. And I tell people this is like my main saying, like your last name hold weight. And the thing is you had all these people prior to you who didn't make excuses, who went through all these sacrifices, who made all these mistakes for you to be where you are and for you not to take advantage of everything. That's a slap in the face to them. So it's like my last name hold weight. I'm gonna do everything in my power, every resource possible, every drip of blood in my system. I'm going to make sure that my last name continues to hold weight. And that's just how I live my life every day. I don't go do all the other stuff that people my age would do with this type of money, because I know my kids, they not about to be doing that. I'm not gonna show them bad habits. If I'm telling them to do something, they see me doing the complete opposite. Why would they believe me?
That's a fact. Hey guys, if y'all looking at this, I gotta pause it for a second. I'm gonna drop in the show notes just some ways to connect with Tez, maybe even some courses or some classes so you guys could take advantage of just the game that he's sharing, like building a brand in 2025. We ain't talking about 2022 pandemic. Like, how do I build this thing now, leveraging AI, leveraging brand building? So make sure you guys tap in.
Absolutely.
But yeah, bro, I'm grateful that you came here, man. Lead people with just a word of encouragement and ways that they could tap in with you.
So yeah, your boy Dontez Akram. You guys can look me up on YouTube. It's crazy. I just uploaded an 8-hour course on YouTube.
Wow.
It's 100% free. The only money I make from it is directly from YouTube itself. I'm not charging you anything. So I would say if you want free information, you in a different country right now, and you just want some free game, go check out the video. The YouTube is Dontez Akram. As far as other social media platforms, Twitter, I'm on there a lot. That's where my mind is. Dontez Akram, and then Instagram is more lifestyle stuff. _ the real Tez. TikTok Live, I'm on there all the time. So shout out to all the people coming from TikTok Live. And then I would say my key word to you is just stay pure with your intentions. You know what I mean? Like, you're never going to build nothing worth having or nothing worth talking about if your intentions is impure. And I will also say again, like, your last name really hold weight. And like, the moment you really say, all right, forget all the ways that I think about myself in all these negative ways and these doubts and these insecurities and how my parents, how I grew up, like all these excuses. Once you just realize it was always your fault, you know, you just needed me to tell you. I would just say stay pure and really dedicate yourself the next 2 to 5 years. You can change your life in 6 months if you really stick to your script. So
it's a fact.
Stick to it.
Hey, I love that, y'all. So until next time, y'all, we'll see you on the next show.